Welcome back to Anime Recap, anime fans. Today, we're recapping Lookism. Lookism begins with introducing us to Hyun-suk, a short, overweight boy who gets bullied at school and is a massive loner. Hyun-suk is locked in a bathroom with some other students, and he is soaked with sweat. The bullies in the bathroom make him act and beg for their mercy like a dog, but even after he humiliates himself for them, they still beat him up and mock him. Once he's back home, Hyun-suk takes out his anger over being bullied onto his mother, who doesn't know the struggle he experiences at school. He begs her to let him transfer, but ends up yelling at her and upsetting her. Back at his horrible school the next day, Hyun-suk faces more bullying during his gym class. He takes a soccer ball to the face, and then a much larger student begins slapping him around. Suddenly, his mother appears and tries pushing the other student away. Hyun-suk yells at his mother, embarrassed and angry. When Hyun-suk and his mother arrive home, she reveals that she was at the school because she was arranging a transfer for him. However, at this new school, he will have to live on his own. Hyun-suk doesn't mind living on his own if it means he can leave his horrible school. Hyun-suk also realizes his mother knew he was being bullied all along, which makes him tear up and feel guilty. Leaving his mother, he moves to Seoul, where the new school is located. He has to live in a tiny, dirty apartment, but he's excited about the change. Ready for a fresh start, Hyun-suk goes to a hairdresser to switch things up. His hair doesn't look as good as he hoped, and on the way home he bumps into a pretty girl. He braces himself ready to be mocked, but the girl actually apologizes. Hyun-suk tries to flirt with her, thinking he has a chance, but she gets weirded out by this. Then the girl's boyfriend shows up and beats Hyun-suk up for flirting with her. Bystanders record Hyun-suk getting beaten up, and the video soon goes viral. Hyun-suk cries himself to sleep as he reads the mean comments people have written and watches as the video gets more and more popular. The next morning, Hyun-suk is ready for another terrible day. But when he looks in his mirror, he is shocked to see a handsome face looking back at him. He is tall, with abs and muscles and beautiful green eyes. He can't believe it and stumbles out of the bathroom where he sees his normal overweight body still sleeping on the floor. When he shakes his normal body awake, he awakens in that body and is back to being a sad loner. He assumes it was a crazy dream, but when he rolls over, he sees his good-looking body sleeping on the ground. Clearly, a massive change has taken place. Hyun-suk is confused, but realizes that when he sleeps, he is able to somehow change bodies. He will have to work out a schedule to use this new body, and decides he will use his good-looking body in the daytime, and his old form at night. Hyun-suk shows up to his new school in his new, better-looking body. He's tall and fit with dark hair and striking green eyes. As soon as he walks into his first class, all the female students lose their minds at how handsome he is. When he sits down, he realizes he is seated between the guy who beat him up the other day and his girlfriend. Hyun-suk panics, but neither of them realize who he really is since he's in his new form. He introduces himself to Hyun-suk as Jin. Hyun-suk continues to get attention from both male and female students all day. The girls stare at him and the guys all get annoyed that he's getting so much attention. Hyun-suk isn't used to so much positive attention and worries he's going to get beat up or bullied. Some of the guys tell Hyun-suk to meet them after lunch, and Hyun-suk was nervous, but they wanted to smoke a cigarette with him. He declines in a cool way and says he quit. The other guys are intimidated by this, but Hyun-suk takes their intimidation for bullying and leaves. After lunch, Hyun-suk dozes off in a class because he spent the entire morning running around and enjoying his new form. He wakes up in his old body back in his apartment and panics. But Hannah, a girl he's made friends with, wakes him up in class and he wakes back up in his good-looking form. Hyun-suk realizes he will have to get a job since he's living on his own and gets a job at a convenience store. He works nights in his old form for extra cash. One night, some of his classmates, including Jin, come into the store. They try buying cigarettes, but Hyun-suk asks for their IDs and turns them away. Jin attacks Hyun-suk and is shocked when he sees that Hyun-suk has the same name as the handsome guy in his class. He continues beating Hyun-suk up anyway. Before the guys leave, they take a picture of Hyun-suk with his pants off and threaten to post it all over the place if Hyun-suk calls the police. The next day at school, Jin and his classmates are sharing the picture of the naked Hyun-suk and laughing about it. Hyun-suk stands up for himself, which angers Jin. Jin goes to punch Hyun-suk, but Hyun-suk realizes that he's been getting beat up for so long that he's finally learned how to dodge. He dodges Jin easily and knocks him out with one punch. The other students can't believe it, and the gossip spreads throughout the school quickly. That night, while at work in his original body, Hyun-suk notices a student who stuck up for him stealing something from the store. Hyun-suk chases the student out into an alley and realizes he ran into a trap set by some students from the school. The bullies try making Hyun-suk and the other student fight each other until Vasco shows up and defends Hyun-suk and the other student. The next day, Hyun-suk asks Hana about Vasco and learns that he's the leader of a big group in the school. Hyun-suk is getting taunted by Jin and the other bullies until Vasco comes over to them. Hyun-suk goes to thank Vasco for helping him last night, not realizing that Vasco helped him while he was in his chubby form. Vasco misunderstands Hyun-suk and thinks he has joined the bullies. He grabs Hyun-suk's shoulder hard, but Hyun-suk shocks everyone, including Vasco, when he pulls Vasco's hand off of him. Later on, we see Vasco's wrist a bright red. Clearly, Hyun-suk could have taken Vasco if the fight progressed. All the bullies are impressed by Hyun-suk's show of strength, and instead of bullying him, they now want to hang out with him. They all go out for food. Hana is there flirting with Hyun-suk, and Jin is there too. Hyun-suk is worried when he spots Jin, but with some drinks in him, Jin is a lot friendlier and the two have a good time. One of the bullies is about to show everyone the video of Hyun-suk getting bullied in his other form last night. Feeling bold from all the drinks, Hyun-suk grabs the phone and crushes it in his hands. He also breaks a glass trying to have fun, but everyone thinks he is doing it in a threatening way. Right after that, he passes out and wakes up in his other body. He tries to go back to sleep so he can wake up in his better body, but he can't. He runs to where his other body is and carries it home, saying he is his other form's roommate and he was sent to pick him up. The guys sit around and speculate about who Hyun-suk really is. The next day, Hyun-suk is back in his handsome body. He sees the other kid that was being bullied with him the other night in school and invites him to eat with him. The other kid doesn't understand it but is happy to join. Later on, Hyun-suk's mother comes to visit and finds Hyun-suk in his handsome body. He says he is Hyun-suk's roommate and takes her out to eat. The two are very comfortable together, and Hyun-suk's mother is a big fan of her son's handsome roommate. Vasco is also eating at the restaurant and listens in on their conversation. Vasco continues to misunderstand, and he thinks the handsome Hyun-suk is just hanging out with the gross Hyun-suk to use and mock him, and he gets annoyed. Before she leaves, Hyun-suk's mom reveals that she has taken another job. Vasco watches her shove some money into Hyun-suk's hand, and he gets even more annoyed. He confronts Hyun-suk outside of the shop. He attacks him, but Hyun-suk manages to dodge all the hits. Vasco demands he give him the money from his mother and feels triggered when remembering the bullies from his old school. This sends him into attack mode and he knocks Vasco out. Later on, Hyun-suk is working at the store in his old body. After Vasco comes in and offers some advice, he tries doing a few push-ups in his old body but doesn't do a very good job. A pretty woman walks in and Hyun-suk is embarrassed, but the woman doesn't mock Hyun-suk or recoil from him. She even buys him a drink and Hyun-suk is thrilled. The next day, a new character named Leon is introduced at the school. Leon is new to the school and wears flashy and expensive accessories. He expects to be immediately popular because of his wardrobe, but he's disappointed when the girls crowd around Hyun-suk despite his low-quality clothes. One of the students in class, Jay, overhears Leon and his friends plotting to embarrass Hyun-suk. Later on, Jay also overhears Hyun-suk on a call with his mom, where she mentions that Hyun-suk's birthday is tomorrow. Jay surprises Hyun-suk with a bag of designer clothes and accessories as a gift for his birthday. Jae is super wealthy, so it's nothing to him. He drives off in his chauffeured car as Hyun-suk stands at the curb, shocked by Jae's gift. The next day, Hyun-suk walks in dressed head to toe in his flashy new clothes. Hana compliments him and asks where he got the clothes. Jae listens in the background and cringes, expecting Hyun-suk to take credit, but Hyun-suk says the clothes were from a friend, which makes him smile. Hyun-suk tries being friendly with someone he rescued from bullying a few days ago, a short boy named Duke. Duke wants to make music for a living so he can support his sick grandma, but he keeps getting overlooked because of his appearance. Hyun-suk keeps trying to be friends with Duke, but Duke keeps rejecting him. He doesn't trust Hyun-suk's kindness. During lunch, Hyun-suk spots Duke getting bullied. He approaches to help and Jae stands to help too. To everyone's surprise, Jin and Vasco stand up to help Duke too. Duke's bully quickly backs down. The girls in class crowd Hyun-suk, impressed by his kindness. When Hyun-suk turns to Duke, he is already walking away. Hyun-suk and Duke are both staying after class. Duke is out in the yard after getting beaten up by his bullies, and Hyun-suk is cleaning up a classroom. Hyun-suk is daydreaming and begins to sing to himself, which Duke overhears. He appears and begs Hyun-suk to join him, so they can partner up for an upcoming music festival. Duke and Hyun-suk start to hang out a lot more to practice. Joe, the boy Hyun-suk was bullied with a few days ago, hangs out with them too. He even practices in his other form. One night while working, he's singing in his other form, and the woman from the other day comes back in. She compliments his singing and buys him cough drops so his throat doesn't get sore. Duke and Joe get bullied one night, and afterwards they end up at Hyun-suk's store. The three of them hang out and are good friends, even though Hyun-suk is in his other form. They bond over all the times they've been bullied. Vasco catches them all hanging out and realizes Hyun-suk isn't a bad guy, even in his handsome form. The school's festival has finally arrived. Everyone is here, including the woman who has been visiting Hyun-suk at the store. Hyun-suk, in his handsome form, starts to get nervous about performing. Hyun-suk is excited to see the woman from the store, but gets confused when she acts like she doesn't know Hyun-suk. He realizes that he has only spoken to her in his other form. The woman isn't nearly as nice to Hyun-suk in his handsome form, and Hyun-suk doesn't understand. When Hyun-suk tries to go after the girl, her boyfriend/bodyguard attacks him. Hyun-suk is knocked down and Vasco joins the fight to help Hyun-suk. Before they fight, the girl appears and convinces the man to leave. Hyun-suk and Duke are waiting to go on for their concert. Duke's bully performs before them and does a great job. Duke congratulates him, but that annoys his bully and he hits Duke. Hyun-suk wants to fight, but Duke doesn't want to and just wants to perform. Hyun-suk chokes before he can start performing, and Duke has to take over. He does an amazing job and everyone is impressed, and Hyun-suk becomes more confident watching Duke. He starts to sing and the crowd goes wild. They win the festival and are even approached by a music producer. The producer only speaks to Hyun-suk though. Hyun-suk turns the producer down, saying he and Duke are a team. Their performance goes viral and the girl from the store sees it. She notices that Hyun-suk is performing the same song she overheard the other Hyun-suk practicing at the store. She gets a small smile on her face and looks down at her overweight sleeping form on the bed, revealing that she has the same secret as Hyun-suk. That's our recap of the first part of the anime Lookism. Don't forget to subscribe and let us know if you want to see a part 2 of Lookism, and any other anime recaps you want to see.